I got it. We're good to go, Andrea. Go for it.
Hey, everybody. We are so glad that you're here. How neat that we have 3 diamonds that are willing to get together and give you all of the combined info that they've learned over the last 2 years in a really short and hopefully short meeting tonight. So I want to welcome, I'm Andrea Mitchell. I'm a Diamond Silver Ambassador, which may mean nothing to newbies, but it just means I've gone all the way to the top and the company let me start it all over again. We also have Ellen Ford, who is one of my very first ambassadors in my first month on. She's also a Diamond Silver Ambassador. And Julia Carte, my dearest friend, she's signed up a little bit after us and has gone all the way to Diamond and has the ability to re-enter as well. So that's kind of who we are, and we are going to get started. I'm going to start tonight talking about posting. One thing that we talk a lot about with our teams as soon as you get started is we say you've got to post on Facebook. And you know what? I think it freaks a lot of people out. They just kind of paralyzing fear of what will people think of me. I'm going to be really honest. I posted the very first day I signed up. I signed up November 30th of 2013, and I posted my story immediately. But y'all, I also posted Rosalind's story, who is my direct sponsor. I also posted Susan Stern's story, who was somebody I already knew. I posted Celeste Gwynn's story, even though I'd only known her for a couple of months and only met her once. So I started posting other people's stories because I saw that my story wasn't going to be the only one to connect with people. That if someone didn't have Hashimoto's or a kid with constipation or anything that my story contained, but the products could really help them, I was kind of short-sighting them with just my story. Please make sure you're muted if you're not muted so everyone can hear what the speakers are saying. Also, I want to let you know that one thing about posting is we tend to be really kind of prideful in the fact that we think people really care what we post on Facebook. That, oh my gosh, what if they see me posting about plexus or gut health or poop or whatever it is? Obviously, pick your comfort level and whatever you think is really appropriate, but stop thinking about what everybody else thinks. If I hadn't started posting on Facebook, this Zoom would not be happening. Most of the people that are on my team, there's a good chance that it wouldn't have gotten anywhere. So, if Rosalind had never started posting on Facebook, I would have never known she was sharing plexus. So it's a thing that you have to put yourself out there and be willing to be a little vulnerable because there's someone that this is really going to matter to. So start immediately with excitement, even if you're a little nervous, and be personal. And graphics do not sell products to anyone at all. Remember what was said or what you heard that affected you. So put yourself back in the situation that you were before you signed up for Plexus or before you really started posting, and think about what it was that someone put out on Facebook or said to you in person that made a difference. That was your light bulb moment. You're gonna want to go back to that light bulb moment over and over again, and you're going to want to be that light bulb for other people. So think back to yours. There's a good chance that it was something. For me, it was energy. For Julia, I want to say it was probably when I verbally spoke to her and told her the income potential. Ellen heard sugar. So everyone hears something different. You need to make sure that you're putting a lot of different things out there. Hey, Julia, you're next.
I'm next. So my second.
I said baby top, Paris. Leave that there.
I know.
Okay, let's mute. I've muted everybody.
I know. Come here, Taylor.
Hey, Julia, can you click
Mute all.
and then just unmute yourself?
Okay. And Andrea and Ellen, you'll have to unmute yourself. Can y'all hear me? Yes. Okay. So my second tip to success is make 100 lists. Now, this is something I feel like my team probably gets tired of hearing me talk about, but it is so important. As soon as I started, my upline told me to make a list of 100 people. And this 100 list is really just 100 people you think would benefit from the products or the business or maybe even both. I think it's very important to keep an ongoing list. Make sure that list is always going. And a little memory jogger I like to remind everybody of is Frank. Your friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, and then people maybe through your kids. That's Frank. Just if you need some help making a list of that 100. And, out of that 100, I tell people, you want to reach out to them because you're going to use this list to really start building your team, reaching out to people. And you want to put people who you sincerely think really could use the product. So if you know someone who's diabetic or has thyroid issues or have been trying to lose weight, or maybe they need the business, maybe it's a stay-at-home mom that is struggling to make ends meet, make sure on my list I sometimes jot down, why am I putting them on there? Like, why are they on my list? So when I go and contact them, I can be real and sincere and say, I'm contacting you because I think you would be great at the business, and I know that you really want to stay at home with your kids, and this is a great opportunity. Or I know that your mom has a autoimmune disease, so does mine, and these products have been great for her. Have a reason you put them on your list, but that list really is just the beginning to start off, with I guess kind of a goal in mind, a plan of action. Out of that 100 list, we like to encourage you to kind of pick your dream team. Put a star by the top 10 people that you want on your team. Now, some of those people I call on my chicken list. Some of them I'm, still to this day already still, diamond, and I'm still kind of scared to reach out to some of them. But I'm revamping my 100 list right now. So this is not something you just do at the beginning. So if you're on this call and you're not renewed, maybe you're gold, senior gold, ruby, you need to have your 100 list. And you need to have your dream team, a new dream team. My dream team, it's new this year than it was last January. Some of my dream team has joined my team, some of them haven't. So that 100 list is a key to success because it's going to give you vision of where to go this year. And Ellen's going to talk to us about what to do with this list.
Can everybody hear me? Okay, awesome. Okay, so we've made our list. Once you make that list, then you have to do something with it. So what we're going to talk about now is called 531, and I kind of tag those as 5 is reaching out, 3 is reach in, and 1 is reach down. And for reaching out, that is reach out to 5 brand new people on your list each day. And that's send them that dreaded cold call that we all get nervous about. It gives you sweaty palms sometimes. We're like, oh, that makes me so nervous to reach out to people. But sometimes, the worst thing that they can say is, no, I'm not interested. And yeah, that might hurt a little bit, but I'm telling you, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And think about this, 90% of, I know for me, 90% of my friends on Facebook, I never come into direct contact with, like, personally. So sending them a message about, hey, come join my team, I'm not going to like turn around and maybe see them the next day. So it's like, oh, okay, well, I feel a little bit, it's a little bit easier to send a message through Facebook. And the next thing is you need to set pride aside. Julia and Andrea talked about making that 100-person list and posting on Facebook. And a lot of people are like, oh, when I get ready, when everything falls into place, when I'm, when things are perfect, I'm going to post, but I'm just not quite ready. Set that pride aside. Don't worry about what people think and just do it. Because I know for me, once I did that and people started becoming interested in my post and interested in the products, then it was like, oh, this is actually helping people. I kind of set myself aside and was like, this is helping people. I'm going to keep doing it. And I think also making that cold call message, a lot of people are like, well, that's easy for you to say. You've been in the business for a while and I don't know what to say. And I've learned sending 5 paragraphs does not work. I used to do that in the very beginning and send them like 5 attachments and want them to get back to me the next day. And they're like, I haven't read all this stuff. The approach I believe works the very best is the informal and to the point, quick approach. I call it the hey girl, because I'm so informal. If you're on my team and I reached out directly to you, you can probably go back and see it says, hey girl, I want you to do this with me. But I kind of look at it like tennis or ping pong. You go, hey girl, I would love for you to come do plexus with me. Or hey girl, have you ever heard of plexus? And then that would warrant a response from them, so that you're kind of doing a little bit of back and forth versus, let me tell you my testimony in 5 paragraphs. I'm going to attach all this stuff for you to look at, and that bogs them down. So simple and something very personal. And one thing big about cold calling, I like to do it late at night before I go to bed. And a lot of times if you do something late at night, like, I don't know, even 11 midnight, you sleep and you're like, oh yeah, the next day it's kind of like, doesn't make you as nervous because you send it out and then go to sleep and you kind of forget about it the next morning. And a lot of the responses I've gotten back have been late at night, because, you know, that's when the kids are down. That's when people have time to focus. And that's when people are really wanting to reach out. If for some reason that late night time frame, and early in the morning. So that's reaching out. Reaching in is following up with those either people that you've messaged from your list, or maybe you have some customers and you just need to check back in with them. But reaching in, you want to follow up with those people that you've sent messages to. For me, if I don't hear back from someone, you know, if we send that cold call message out and we saw that it's been seen on Facebook, it drives us nuts, because we're like, what? Why didn't they respond back? Why didn't they just say something? You know, we start getting in a tizzy about why did they not respond back? And maybe they're out and driving, or maybe they have something going on where they can't respond at the moment. And maybe they're not sure what to do. I always think of non-responses as not a no. You know, I have people that I've reached out to that will straight up, the minute I hit send, like in 2 seconds, they're responding back and say no. I'm going to kick them, you know, to the end of my list, and I'm going to move on down my list. But again, sometimes a no is a not now, and people just want, you know, they may not be ready for the business. They may not be ready for the products. So we need to be patient with that and let things develop, because we have to remember that someone was patient with us and someone was patient, you know, someone was patient with you. If you're like, man, Ellen bugged me for a year. I know there's people on this call. She bugged me for a year and I ignored her. And then all of a sudden I jumped in. Be patient with those people that are dragging their feet or they're not sure about things, and let it develop. If they are saying, you know, the top 3 are I'm too busy, it's too expensive, or I'm not a salesperson, post about those specific things. If you know somebody that you've messaged is working a job full time and they are struggling just making the ends meet, or they have kids and are juggling so many things, post about how Plexus, post testimonials of moms who have been able to quit their job and stay home with their kids. Post my testimony. Send them testimonials if they're like, I got thyroid issues that, I'm just not sure. Find testimonials and send those to them. That's a great way to follow up with someone. Send them something that they really want to know. Also, remember to send them company specials. If we have something that's going on, like our Christmas specials that was happening last week and week before, send that out to them as a follow-up. You don't even have to really do anything. And don't stop following up until they say no or they join. That's my thing. I'm just going to keep following up with this person. If they say nope, not interested, I'm going to put them at the end of the line and maybe follow up several months down the line, or they join. Our third point is reach down. That is kind of our training, which Andrea is going to touch on here in a little bit. But when you have someone that joins your team, feel free to go ahead and set up a team page. I know it sounds crazy, but set up a team page and add one person and it's you and that person and you're like, hey girl. And they're like, hey. Here's a document to read. But y'all can start like sharing files on there, sharing graphics, kind of just starting dialogue. And then when you have other people that join the team, your team page is already set up and you're going to be able to train and follow up with your ambassadors. Also, training can be as simple as texting your friend going, hey, do you have any questions? I know you just joined. Are you ready to do your first post? Start a dialogue with them to see kind of where they're needing training or help. And my favorite is, do you have any questions, or, what struggles? Are you having any struggles? Do you have any fence sitters and you're not sure which way to go with your conversation? Just kind of get them to get you feedback. A lot of times people will say, well, I'm not sure if this person wants to work the business. You can still train them in a non-business way. You can reach out, hey, how your product's going? Let's talk about how you're taking them. Make sure they get started off on the best foot possible. And then if you're like, well, I have someone, but they're in Oregon or they're, overseas or whatever, set up a Zoom call like this and talk. You can talk face to face without really, if you feel like you need a little bit more than text. But that's basically 531. I think now we're going to touch on goals with Julia.
Yes. So our next tip is for success is to have written goals. So I would say, if you're on this call, you're probably interested in the business and you have a goal. And most people, I think it's funny, they'll tell me, okay, Julia, I want to win a Lexus. I want to go Emerald. I want to go to Hawaii. And that's great. That's a great goal to have. But to really achieve those big goals, you have to make daily, monthly, yearly goals. And it's January, so I feel like we're all in like goal setting mode. So I'm just going to give you a few tips. The first thing is write down your goals. If you write down your goals, it just kind of clarifies where you're going and it sets it in motion. And also put them everywhere you can see. I know for me, when I first started, we had to make a dream board, and you might have seen those where you make the graphics and kind of the goals you want to achieve. And I set my dream board as my computer, my desktop backdrop. So every time I opened my computer to work, I saw a picture of Hawaii. I saw a picture of Disney World because I knew I wanted to get my kids to Disney World. Like, I visualized what I wanted, and the debt-free and erasing debt. I had those goals in mind. But those were my big term goals. You also have to have, like I said, to reach those, you have to have daily and monthly goals. So you have to be very specific. Exactly what do you want to achieve in your business? You have to be action oriented. You have to know what actions need to be taken to get to that goal. And then you also have to be very time specific. How long do you want it to take? So, one of my favorite things as being a leader is helping my team set goals, set a plan of action, and help them reach that goals. I just think it's very rewarding. So I'm just going to kind of give you an example. If your goal, I tell my new members, or all my members, our goal each month is to reach $500 in PV. So write that down. I want to reach $500 in PV to make 25% commission. That's very specific. So what's the action there? What do you have to do to get $500 in PV? Well, you know what? You're probably going to have to do some 531. You're going to have to reach out I'm going to reach out to 5 people every day the next 2 weeks in hopes to make some sales to reach that $500 goal. I'm going to post daily. That would be your action. I'm going to post 3 times a day for the next month so I can reach my goal of $500 PV. And then, of course, time. You want to reach that by the 31st so you get paid commission for the pay round. So that's just a few little steps of being specific, action oriented, and having a time frame of reaching your goals. So next, we're going to talk about commitment for personal and professional development. Is Andrea?
Am I up or Andrea? Who is it? Me?
That's Ellen. Never mind.
Oh, okay. I think we're all going to talk about this a little bit, so I'll go ahead and start. But commit to personal and professional development. I think if we are going to be successful in Plexus, we have to become kind of students, so to speak, of Plexus and learn everything we can about the products and the business. The products for me, I'm not very versed in medical background and know the ins and outs of the ingredients, but I can get on and I can watch a video of someone else doing it, and then I can share that video. So if you're like, I don't really think I can share with anybody because I don't know the products. If you're feeling like that, which if you're brand new, you probably are. I know I did. Get on and start becoming a student. Start learning. Start watching those videos that talk about the products, that talk about the business. I know for me, when I first started Plexus, Andrea had recommended these Monday and Tuesday night calls that were, one was usually about a testimonial, and there was a business testimonial and a health testimonial. The next night was about an emerald, sapphire, or diamond ambassador, and they gave like a 15, 20-minute talk on their testimony and what the things they did to be successful were. And y'all, I listened to those every night. They were like 8:30 to 8:45 or something like that. They were 15, 20 minutes, just real quick, little testimonials that I could put my earplugs in. I got the kids down and I could just sit there and have a little bit of time to where I could like learn, like, what are these people doing to be successful? Wow, that lady, okay, I had someone the other day ask me about IBS. Now I can use this testimonial. But everyone has 20 minutes during the day that they can learn something. You're like, oh man, I'm so busy. I don't have time to sit on my phone all day, and I don't have time for videos. And for me, since I worked full time, I would learn in my car on the way to and from work. And I would, queue up a video on my phone. I would not watch it. I would listen to it. I might have watched it at the stoplight, but I would like plug in like Sarah Marble or Sonia Dudley or Tamara Holloway, and I would just listen because, the more we listen to people talk about Plexus and talk about the products, the more we're going to absorb it. So I just wanted to know everything I could about Plexus so that I could turn around and teach my team and do those things myself. So think about those things. Also, there's a leadership book called Millionaire by Halftime, and the guy talks about, it's Presley Swaggerty is the author, and he talks about if we read 20 minutes a day for a year, we could earn college credit for certain courses. And so if you think about it, 20 minutes, you could get up an extra 20 minutes early, or if you have a job that is a long commute, that's time in the car. I know there's people on this call that use that time to work their Plexus business, but we constantly need to be learning. And even Julia and Andrea and I, we have to constantly be learning stuff as well. So that's just kind of my spin on personal development. Julia, you and Andrea might have something additional to add.
I'll go. I wrote a couple of points down about personal development. The first one is find someone that you connect with. I'm echoing.
You're not to us.
Okay. So find someone that you connect with and follow them. They don't have to know that they're your mentor. They can be someone that you just follow on Facebook, that you follow on Twitter, and it can be someone that's a Plexus ambassador or someone that's not, like what Ellen said with Plexus. But find someone that you really connect with and let them mentor you. Sarah Robbins, I think, is great because she's our age demographic. Also, Flip CEO is one that I really because they really are kind of a mom-daughter team that I kind of connected with. So find people that you connect with. It might not be Eric Worre, it might not be Presley Swaggerty, but find someone that you feel like I can connect with this person and follow them. And there may be Plexus ambassadors that you connect with and that you feel like really speak kind of the same way that you would like to lead your team. You don't have to message them. You don't even have to friend request them on Facebook. You can just follow them. You can follow people on Facebook. Most Jewel ambassadors have their Facebook set up so you can follow them, see what they post, see what they write. You don't have to be on their team pages, and you kind of don't have to kind of invade into their life to still be able to learn amazing things from them. And two is when we're kind of talking about personal development, a lot of times, like Ellen said, that can be product. And I would say the three of us, product is not our strong point. We probably love to inspire and train and motivate and business strategize. But the products themselves, how they work, is not our strong point. I don't think it has to be everybody's strong point. But what I do think is that we have amazing access to people like Rachel Niegel and even Elizabeth Poe. Like, there's so many people on our team, Rachel Rogers, that love to talk about the products. And Kim Pollock is great talking about product and how that deals with your daily life. You're welcome to follow those people, but all that information is available on our team pages. So A Team, Ellen's team page, and Julia's team page, all of those pages allow and that product information out there. Rachel Niegel has an incredible product call that's about an hour long, so it may take you a couple of days. But Elizabeth Poe, who's almost gold, said she listens to it on a loop in her car, just so whenever she gets in, it's at the next product, and she listens to it until she stops and she gets out, she does her thing, and she gets back in, and it continues to roll. And for her, she's listened to it a few times now. Now she feels very comfortable talking about Probio 5 and BioCleanse. Now she feels very comfortable talking about 96, or maybe a product you've never used and don't know a lot about. It won't teach you everything, but it may help you with troubleshooting, and it will definitely help you when someone says, hey, I'm having this issue, and you can go back to the information that you learned from that. So personal development just means growth in any area that you feel like you might have a weakness. And so figure out what your weaknesses are and really work to strengthen this. Jules?
Hey, Andrea, someone just asked, who did you just mention that you listened to? They want to write down the names. So just to go back.
Sarah Robbins is Rock Your Network Marketing, and she's with a different MLM and still active. And she is in her maybe late 20s, early 30s, and started out and was a teacher and really wanted to invest in network marketing, and she stunk at it at first. And so her story is really neat. And then what she learned as she grew through her MLM has been just kind of neat to hear. It's very real. It doesn't feel like she's coming at it from like a million mile view. She really kind of comes at it from our level, which I really appreciate. And then Flip Flop CEO is a daughter who graduated from college, got into the workforce, and realized she really didn't feel like that's all that she was supposed to do. And so she came home and told her mom she was going to do a network marketing company. And her mom says, you're crazy. That's not, normal people don't do that. That's like Tupperware ladies. And she really convinced her mom that it was a good industry. And so I think that's, again, two different viewpoints, the daughter and the mother, in that book. And so I really enjoy following them. I've heard them speak a few times just on radio broadcasts that I found on YouTube and on podcasts. So I really researched or looked for. I do a lot better, which probably, like Ellen said, with the in my speaker in my car. If I'm reading a book, there's a good chance I won't get through the entire thing. But if it's an audio book or an audio recording of any kind, I can listen to that all day long and absorb it actually better. So find out what works for you. If books work for you, go straight for books. Highlight and underline and take notes until your heart's content. But if you're an audio person, there's plenty of opportunity out there for those kind of things.
I think y'all pretty much. I followed.
Jules, you want to talk about person?
I followed Andrea and Ellen's lead, so I feel like it's exactly what they said. But I will touch on, because I know a lot of new people are on here. When I first joined, I moved back to Alabama like 2 weeks later. So I just felt I was here by myself, and I had to throw a party by myself, and I had no idea what to do. I'd never been to one, and it's an oldie. I look back in just a year and a half, like how much more resources our teams have, because I watched Celeste. There's a video of Celeste doing a sip and see or opportunity meeting, and I think I watched that same video 45 times just to kind of memorize. I totally had no understanding, but I just memorized what the products were and what they did. So I just say that to encourage you, don't wait till you're like, oh, I have a grasp on everything to join and start selling. My first little party, I look back, I don't know why anybody joins, but I think pretty much not everybody, but a lot of them did, and a lot of them are probably on this call. But just like Andrea said, find something that works for you and just listen to it and just soak it in, because I think that's the easiest way to learn, is just to get out there and start listening. And again, y'all have a lot more resources than I even did a year and a half ago. A lot more product gurus out there. Okay, the next thing is fuel your plexus passion. That's Ellen. Go for it, Ellen.
Me? Okay. So fueling your plexus passion begins with kind of our why. Why did you join? Was it to get the discount? Was it for the business? Was it for both? I know for me, whenever I first joined, it was 100% for the discount. Andrea had posted about the products, and I wanted to buy some from her. I didn't want to, I had no time to sell anything. At the time, I had a full-time job. We have 9-year-old twins, and my husband's in full-time ministry. So 100% for the discount. I said the words, girl, I'm never going to sell this stuff. So my why in the beginning was strictly initially for the discount. It was New Year's right at the same time when I joined. And so kind of low expectations in the beginning. I had a friend that I told about it, and she immediately jumped on board. And I remember getting a $25 check that very next week for her joining. And I was like, it was, in I say olden days when we got like hard checks in the mail. And I just remember getting that check, and it made an impression on me. And I was like, wow, I just told one person and they sent me this check in the mail. So I thought, the light bulb came on for me. And I thought, wow, what if I tell someone else? So my first month, I made $400. And that's when I first got the glimmer of, you know what? Just the thought, not like I'm doing it tomorrow, the thought of my true desire was to stay home with my twins and be a stay-at-home mom. That was my dream down deep in my heart, but I never really voiced it or let anybody know because I didn't think that was something that was possible. We needed my income that I was getting from my full-time job. But at that time, when I got that first $25 check, the light bulb came on. Then when I made $400 first month, I was like, oh, I think I might do this. And I was dreaming big. I mean, I worked 17 years as a paralegal and always wanted to stay home, but we never could do that. And my big dream, my ultimate dream was to stay home. But I think that started with me starting my products, taking them regularly, seeing the results and loving what I was seeing, in addition to remembering why I was doing this. In the beginning, it started as the discount. Then it immediately, once I got a check or two in the mail, it was like, this is income. I'm going to try to double it every month. I'm going to try to triple it. I'm going to try to make as much money as I do at my regular job, and then maybe eventually I can quit. But I think the consistency with the products and the consistency with working the business the way that we've been talking about tonight and doing these things, that is what fueled my passion. Because it's like, we have days when we reach out to people, or we may have a week or two that go by and no one responds back to our message. And we feel like, man, why am I doing this again? My why was I'm staying home with my kids. And I think for a lot of us, we have to get angry almost with where we are currently before we can move on to the next thing. And for me, I was working on a job that was very demanding and really, really difficult boss. And he made me cry one day, and I just lost it and was crying. It was like in the middle of my plexus journey. And I knew down deep, man, this is temporary, because my goal is to quit my job. And I mean, some of the days are going to be hard, but I just had that in the back of my head and in my heart. And I knew, man, if I just keep doing these things that we're talking about tonight, this is going to happen. So just remember your why. You know, there's the little why, I think. This the discount that we kind of use, especially being female. We're like, oh, this is my why, but I have a deeper why. Think about that deeper why, and it should make you cry. It should make you cry to think about what's possible in your life. And that alone should fuel your plexus passion. So that's basically what I had on how to fuel your plexus passion.
Okay, I'm going to talk about training next. But before I talk, one thing I want to mention based on what Ellen just said is my why has become Ellen's and Julia's. It's become my friends that want to quit their jobs. It's my friends whose husbands have lost their jobs and need a different source to watch. And the day that Ellen got to walk out of that office and know that my posting solid for a month, sometimes 8 times a day, 2 years ago, is what engaged her. It's what got her there. And then my ability to train her and to invest in her until I could literally kick her out of the nest and the girl flew higher than I did. Like, that's incredible. And then with Julia, to be able to say, well, I'm kind of making this much money. And my gosh, she's blown past what I told her I was making that day. I mean, how neat is that to know that something that you did, that you had even a little bit of belief in, sparked belief in somebody else that ignited a fire in their life. So again, the times that you think it's about you, it's not. It's about the lives that you change. So getting into that, training is big after you get someone in. So we've talked about who we want in. We've talked about how to get them to actually sign up. We've talked about having the goals that keep you going when you get no's. We've talked about personally developing through all of this, and we've talked about why you even want to do it in the first place. Now let's talk about, you have one person, you have one customer, you have one anything. Who are we going to train? So the first thing is you're going to train yourself daily. We've talked about personal development. It goes back to that. It goes back to learning products. It goes back to researching things on the page yourself, calling customer service yourself, getting a wrong answer, finding out it's a wrong answer, and correcting that. It happens to everyone. We run businesses. It is a personal business. People are fallible. People will let you down. People will train you incorrectly. People will tell you the wrong answer. It will happen. It's a people business. But what you do is you literally dust yourself off and say, okay, so that was the wrong answer. What am I going to do with the information now? Or that didn't ship yet. What am I going to do now? Or I can't get into my back office. Do I freak out? Yes or no? Those are things that come along with personal development. Julia had mentioned the fact that when we start, even when she started a year and a half ago, the stuff that we have now was not available. The amount of customer service agents that we had and the amount of people that had access to our corporate liaisons, all of these team pages were not available to us then. And when I started, what we had was Celeste and Jenny had a big giant team page that freaked me out, and I had customer service. Rosalind worked all day long, and she had a very small team page, and it didn't have anybody much more seasoned than I was. And so my sister and I, Sarah Roten and I, called customer service almost every single day. We asked them any question. Every question that y'all ask on the team page or that you ask your upline, we called customer service and asked them. We researched it on our own. When people started joining our team, we started having teammates that really wanted the business. We all learned together. So I would really encourage you to train yourself and to own your own business. Next is you train your customers. So I think that's a little harder for people that don't understand the products, but you need to train your customers on how much they're spending and what they could be spending if they were ambassadors, what products they're using, what products they might want to add if they think about it in the future. Like, hey, you're a customer, you're on Triplex, you've been on Triplex for 6 months. Have you ever thought about our multivitamin? Have you ever thought about our Omega supplement? Have you ever thought about 96? Maybe once a month, just introduce them to one product. You're training a customer, and a lot of times when you train a customer on a product, you're going to end up training yourself because they're going to ask you questions and you're going to have to go research it. The next is you train your team. I don't care if you have one person on your team. You train them because you want to be trained. You train them because it makes you a better person. So as you learn more, share it. Kind of like what Ellen talked about when you start getting ambassadors on your team that you are responsible for. You start a team page, and everything that you thought was important that your upline shared with you, share that. The stuff that you didn't think was important, don't share. I mean, you get to pick. Okay, I would like this file. I think this will be helpful. Okay, I don't really get that file. I don't think it was very helpful. I'm not going to use that. And you get to develop your own system. Develop your own training and your own training style. And after I started, I was somewhere between gold and senior gold, and we had a huge growing team. And we all got together and we wrote our own training. One person did products, and one person did Facebook marketing, and one person did closing the deal, and everyone had different strengths, and all of them were not my strengths at the time. And we had a 2-hour training, which, by the way, is a really long training when you're first getting started. I opened up her house, and I had silvers on the call that I thought were really good at certain areas, and probably most of us were silver and gold because I wasn't any higher. And we just all collaborated on a training, and we wrote it. I've probably at this point in 2 years written about 7 or 8 different training materials because it changes how I want to talk about it or how I want it to grow. And even this is a totally different training style than we've ever done. It's just an outline. It's not detailed words. This is just things that we've experienced over time. So develop your own training. Train the way you wish you had been trained or you appreciated being trained. Take something that your upline did and tweak it and make it your own. We talk about that a lot. A lot of us, a lot of what we give to y'all, we were given by somebody and we tweaked it. We said, I don't really get this part. This doesn't really make sense to me, but I want to make sure I include this other part. So developing your own training really makes you a leader. Spread it out so that you don't overwhelm anyone. I think a lot of times we try to give as much information as possible, and we think people just pick up little bits and pieces, but really what it does is it's like drinking from a fire hydrant and people will just rather turn it off. So give them little bits and pieces as you get it. If you learn something from a call, if you learn something from tonight, share maybe tidbits of what you learned tonight from your team instead of writing out a 7-page document on all the things that you learned. Although I'd be really glad if you learned 7 pages worth of information tonight. Always think back to what it was like when you started. What did you want to know? What do you wish you had learned, or what are you so grateful that your upline taught you? And then at the end of the day, we have Super Saturday in a week. Super Saturday is a training about training. It is literally all this information you've gotten in 4 hours, very detailed, very thorough. And what it is it's really going to be, how do I learn and train myself so that I can go out and train other people? It is all about duplication. Do things, learn things, share things that you can train your team and that they can easily go do the next day. When Celeste did that video of her opportunity meeting, that's the first time I ever saw one, was just on that video, the same one that Julia talked about. So Celeste recorded an opportunity meeting that has then trained her levels 4 levels down, 5 levels down. It's incredible what that kind of duplication, that everybody can do that exact same opportunity meeting. We're going to do an opportunity meeting on Friday, wherever your Super Saturday location is. That opportunity meeting will be able to be duplicated by anybody in the company. You will not have to be a jewel or a diamond or a ruby or any of the other colors of the rainbow that we've got in our company. You get to just anybody, a silver ambassador that has 7 friends in their town that want to hear about it, can do the exact same opportunity meeting. It's a training on how to do an opportunity meeting. So I really thank y'all for coming. I think every single person, we've stuck at almost 100 the entire time. It's incredible. I know there are people that are waiting to hear the recording. I just got message after message of, I can't wait till the recording pops up. So take something that you learned tonight and put it into action tomorrow. Julia made a good point. There has to be action behind your goals. You just write a goal down and you walk away. No one walks up to your door, knocks on it and says, sign me up for Plexus. I'm going to be your next rock star. It just doesn't happen. You have to go out there with activity. Any closing remarks?
I don't have anything. I think it was great. Okay. I made a graphic. If you didn't notice, this was 7 steps to success. So we have that and we will share that. Someone does have a quick question down here. Let's look. Who did you guys say you listened to on audio products? I can answer that. I love Jennifer Pickett. I feel like I'm not very medically smart. You know, Rachel Neagle is amazing. Hers is very in depth. I personally love Jennifer Pickett. Do y'all have different people, Andrea or Ellen?
For me, on the product side, I had to read it and see it, because listening to the product for me, I'm like, okay, what was that word? No, I have to like read it. So I went to the team pages, the upline pages, and read the files on the team page for product information. And I listened a lot to Sarah Marble and Sonia Dudley in the beginning.
Yeah, for me, product, I like testimonials better than anything. I'm the person in Sunday school that says, how does this apply to my life? So I feel like we can get a lot of product information, but when you do a testimonial, it's life application. It's saying, okay, that issue, this is what's helped her, and this is how it helped. This is kind of the process that it went through. So I think that was more helpful for me, really, is testimonials. I can remember product based on what testimonial I've heard about it more than I can the information about the product. And when it comes to people, I think there's a lot of people. So I love the ABARTs for Plexus U. I think a lot of their training videos are done really well, and the information is very clear, and Kristen's a great speaker and deliverer. I think Tamara Holloway has great kind of outside the box thinking, and she really kind of ignited Zoom calls for the whole company, and three-way calling, which is still not a comfort zone for me. She encourages that. So I think you find different people that you're like, I'll pick that from you and this from you. I would be really encouraged not to pick one person and listen to any copy that all the way through. I would really be intentional of saying, and this is a great example of, oh, Julia said this, I like that, but Ellen said this about the other subject, and I want to take that, because those two things together are more like me. And so I think it's really important to listen to all of your uplines. A lot of people on this call have a lot of uplines. Some have 3, 4, 5, and 6 diamonds above them. And diamond documentaries are going to be a great way to kind of get to know maybe some diamonds that you might connect with and that you can follow on Facebook. And so, ask if you have a specific question or you kind of want a certain type of person, ask your upline, and maybe they can find you kind of that connector. And that, if it's a single mom or it's a working mom, whatever kind of story you kind of need to connect with, and we can find you that person that kind of, is within your kind of demographic if you want. Any other questions? There's a lot in here.
Someone asked what time the opportunity meeting starts in Scottsdale. We don't know.
They're all at 7 o'clock on Friday night.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock Friday night, and they'll all be the same thing. The great thing about the opportunity meetings and the Super Saturdays is we all have the exact same PowerPoint presentation. We all have the exact same kind of outline, and no matter where you are, you'll get different kind of tidbits that are personal to the speakers. So it'll be really neat when we all get back together, in a week or whatever, and we can go, oh, did you get this tidbit from Celeste and Roz? No, I got this tidbit from Sarah Marble in Little Rock, or Andrea out in Denver, or Rebecca and Elizabeth in Scottsdale, wherever you are, and you'll get different kind of tidbits from your speakers. So it'll be really neat for y'all to all come together and kind of talk through, maybe break down the PowerPoint that we have and say, let's just talk about what you learned from this section of the PowerPoint. I think that could be a really good training for any of the teams that are out there. Okay, guys, if you don't have Super Saturday tickets, get with some teams, see if anybody has an extra. And if you miss Super Saturday for any reason, just know there will be tons of trainings going on after Super Saturday with the information. So don't feel like you've completely lost out. You can attend any opportunity meeting without a ticket, without paying anything. It's completely free. Just show up at the opportunity meetings. And I cannot wait to see what 2016 holds. I cannot imagine. This time last year, there were Rachel, Ellen, Becky, and I were the only Jules on the team, I believe. Julia, when did you go Emerald?
I was senior gold this time last year.
That's crazy.
Okay.
April.
So I imagine if even half of our senior gold rubies and senior rubies are jewels this time next year. Like, and maybe somebody who's not even on our team yet signs up in the next couple of months. You know, I went to Hawaii in 5 months. A lot of people are doing it in 7. It's totally possible. Even if you're brand spanking new, you set activity to your goals. And by activity, I mean, you tell every single person you know, I am your Plexus girl. When you decide to sign up, I want to be the girl you sign up with. And so over the next few months, as they hear more and hear more, they'll come right back to you. So be intentional about reaching out to everybody on your chicken list. That's it. Y'all have a great night. Thank you so much for sticking with us the whole time.
Bye.
Thanks.